The Series 63 from K&N will be for the 21 and newer 5-liter powered F-150 owners out there who are looking to make the switch to an aftermarket intake system and want to go with one of the most popular systems currently on the site for your F-150. Now, the Series 63 will combine a black rotomolded plastic tube along with K&N's signature cotton gauze filter and will not require any custom or can tuning for your truck. Starting with our features block here, guys, let's talk power numbers first. And while we don't have any in-house dyno numbers specifically for the Series 63, K&N claims owners will see upwards of 9 horsepower and 10 pound-feet of torque when installed. And what I will say is that's going to be a very realistic expectation for most 5-liter owners out there without using any additional tuning. Now, you can use this with a tune if you'd like, but just keep in mind it is not required. Now, outside of that, guys, the K&N will deliver a very cool look under the hood. And maybe my favorite part here, guys, the sealed enclosures, which will really help keep those intake air temperatures down when compared to an open element style airbox. Now, moving into construction, and let's start off with the keystone, if you will, of any K&N intake, and that, of course, is their legendary filter. Now, you're getting one of K&N's signature cotton gauze filters here. It is an oiled filter that is washable, it is reusable over the years, and should be refreshed with K&N's signature oil. Now, that filter will reside into the ABS plastic airbox here. As you can see, it's a 2-piece design, and that's really gonna help isolate that filter from any of that hot engine bay air, while also incorporating a really nice factory style inlet or snorkel here that will lead right to the front of your factory hood or aftermarket hood opening. Now, I do really like the design here. I like the angular look, so it's gonna function and form is what you're getting out of this thing here. And again, you are getting a rotomolded plastic tube. Another feature I like because it is less prone to heat soak compared to maybe a metal tube. Now, outside of that, guys, expect all of the necessary couplers and hardware, clamps, all that good stuff needed to get everything in place. Finally, guys, worth mentioning here, the K&N has been made in the USA and is backed by the company's 10-year or million-mile warranty, just in case you run into any issues. Price point for the K&N will come in right around $400, give or take here, which I would say seems to be average for a quality sealed enclosure system such as the Series 63. Now, you'll also find options from S&B in addition to a FE with similar kind of price points in mind here. If you did want to maybe move into an open enclosure, on the other hand, prefer a little bit more sound, you can certainly find a plethora of those systems as well. And typically those open element style systems will be a little bit more affordable to something with a sealed enclosure. Now, moving into the install, the site is going to call this one a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour to complete from start to finish. But now, to give you a better idea of how things might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need a ratchet, various extensions, a 3/8 1/4" adapter if necessary, 4mm Allen socket, 7, 8, 10, and 13mm sockets, a 19mm wrench, and a clip removal tool. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing an intake on our F-150. Now, before we get started, we're going to send you to watch a short video on how to remove your factory intake, and we'll see you when you get back.
So first we have to remove our stock intake. So we have 2 clamps that we're going to have to loosen to get our pipe out. They're going to be 7mm, or you can use a flathead screwdriver. So I get a 7mm socket on here to loosen this clamp. And then we'll do the same thing for this one. So now we can remove our line from the little tab there, and then disconnect our intake tube. And now we can wiggle our intake tube out of our throttle body. So now we can go ahead and disconnect our fitting here. And then we can wiggle our intake tube out from our throttle body. And we can snake that out. Now we can remove our 2 push clips at our intake hose. Now we can remove the bolt that's holding in our intake box and remove our intake box. It's going to be a 13 millimeter. Got a 13 millimeter socket on it. And now we can pull up on our intake box and remove it.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now that we've shown you how to remove your factory intake, we can begin assembling and installing our new setup. So the first thing we're going to do is grab our new lower intake box. We're going to install these provided rubber grommets on the mounting holes around here. And those are simply just going to pop into place. So we'll go ahead and kind of persuade these into the holes here. Make sure those get seated nice and properly, and we'll do the same thing for the other 3 grommet holes. Next, we're going to go ahead and bolt our intake duct into our lower intake housing using our provided 10 millimeter screws with lock washers and flat washers. It has these 2 mounting holes here that are threaded, so we're going to line up those with the mounting holes on the lower air box. Then we'll get our screws in place. Then we'll go ahead and tighten those down with our 10 mil socket on our ratchet. Now we've got our upper half of our air box here. We're going to go ahead and install our logo. It's going to go right into these 2 mounting holes here. And that just pops into place like so. Next, we can install our adapter bracket to our upper intake housing here. So we're going to line up our threaded holes and grab our 4 millimeter Allen head screws with lock washers and flat washers. Go ahead and get one in. Then we'll go ahead and tighten those down with our 4 millimeter Allen socket on our ratchet. Now we'll go ahead and install our new air filter. So we'll grab the filter itself and the provided clamp, slide that on. And we can attach this to our adapter section here. Make sure that seats. Pretty good. We're going to make sure our clamp is on nice and square. We're going to use our 8 millimeter socket on our ratchet to tighten this down. Make sure that's nice and secure. Now we can go ahead and install our PCV fitting onto our new intake tube. So that's just going to screw in just like so. Now we're going to use a 19 mil wrench to go ahead and snug this fitting down. Now remember, this is a plastic fitting going into a plastic tube. You do not need to excessively tighten this. You don't want anything to crack or break. It is also flared, so we'll go ahead and just snug this right down. Once you feel it start getting pretty tight, you can go ahead, call that good. So now we can go ahead and mount our 2 lower grommet studs to our lower air box. So we're going to grab 2 more of our 10 millimeter screws with lock washers and flat washers. We're going to line these up with the mounting holes on the bottom here and go ahead and install those with these screws. Now we can go ahead and tighten these down with a 10 mil socket and extension on our ratchet. So now we've come over to the truck and we're going to begin our install process. And the first thing we need to do is put this threaded grommet stud into our factory mounting point for our airbox. So we're just going to thread this in by hand right here where our factory 13 mil came out. Now we're going to place our lower airbox and duct into its position, and we're going to line our 2 grommet studs up, as well as our mounting point for our new stud that we installed. So now that we have this in position, we'll go ahead and install our 13 millimeter flange nut on our mounting stud here. Now we'll go ahead and tighten this down with our 13 mil socket on our ratchet. Now we'll go ahead and install our new provided clips to mount our air duct. Now we're going to go ahead and install our coupler to our throttle body in preparation to get our intake tube on. So we'll grab our clamp and our coupler. I'm going to go ahead and slide that onto our throttle body like so. Make sure that's seated top and bottom. Then we'll grab our 8 mil socket on our ratchet and snug our clamp down. Now we're going to add in our next hose clamp for our intake tube side. Put that onto our coupler. We're going to grab our intake tube. Go ahead and slide this under our coolant hose there into position. Now we'll get our intake tube into our coupler here. Now the easy way to do this is slide this down with the opening facing up towards you. And we'll go ahead and just kind of rock this into position here. You want to be careful you don't damage your coupler in the process. Go ahead and let that fall right in there. Now we're going to leave this clamp loose for now until we get our airbox in and everything set up there. Now we'll go ahead and grab our coupler for our intake airbox side. Now you notice this is a adapter coupler. It steps up one side and smaller on the other. So the larger side is going to go onto our filter adapter. Go ahead and work that on there. Make sure we seat that. We'll go ahead and grab our clamp. Slide that over. Again, we'll grab our 8 mil socket on our ratchet and tighten this clamp down. Now we're going to go ahead and install this clamp, but we're not going to tighten it down just yet. Then we're going to slide this onto our intake tube and get our airbox in position, and then we can tighten our last 2 clamps down. Now we'll line up our studs to our grommets. Make sure everything comes down nice and evenly. Now we'll go ahead and tighten down this clamp with our 8 mil socket again. Now we'll go ahead and tighten down this clamp to our intake tube, again with our 8 mil socket. Now lastly, we can install our PCV fitting. Make sure that snaps into place. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our K&N Series 63 Air Charger Cold Air Intake Kit for your 21 to current 5-liter F-150. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.